Hey friends, thank you so much for tuning in today. So the topic of this video is going to be 6 things. It just turned out to be a list of 6 things that make a big difference in the way my makeup turns out. A lot of times my videos are very product focused. I like talking about certain products. I like reviewing them. I like new products, old products, everything. But this video is really not going to be very product focused. It's going to be more about what you do and just some basic habits that I think really benefit the makeup routine. As someone who's over 40, I'm 42 years old. You know, skin changes, skin has different needs as time goes along, and I think some of these things are extra beneficial for me now. And some of them are things that I think more about now than maybe I did 10 years ago. So the first thing I would say is moisturization. I always, as I get started here with my makeup, I'm using a variety of serums, but what it really gets down to is a good moisturizer and good under eye moisture more specifically. So after I put my serums on, every day I use my Vanicream Daily Facial Moisturizer. Vanicream is a super sensitive skin friendly brand, is never gonna bring irritation to your skin. It always says on the bottle free of dyes, fragrance, masking fragrance, lanolin, parabens, formaldehyde releasers as well. Non-comedogenic, gluten-free, it's accepted by the Eczema Association. It's just as gentle as can be, but it does pack a good moisture punch. So I like using the Daily Facial Moisturizer, and then the big tub of the moisturizing cream that you can pump out. I put that in a smaller container so it's just easier to have up here, and that is my eye cream. That's my eye cream day and night actually, but I think that is the thing that's really beneficial is you've got to really get some moisture up on that under eye area, and it is kind of a fine line between something that's going to stay feeling way too tacky or really greasy or something like that, and something that's just going to richly hydrate. And I feel like the Vanicream is just the perfect texture. Like I said, I don't want to get too product focused here because you may have a great product that works just perfect for your skin. Vanicream is not the only good thing out there, but just being mindful of the under eye area and the fact that product is going to go on top and it's got to have some moisture to kind of come into. That's what I do, and I think that makes a world of difference with foundations and concealers that come in contact with that area as I do my makeup. Also powders too. I feel like I can get away with more when I'm starting with better moisture underneath. The number 2 thing that I think is really important is using minimal concealer. There are so many tutorials, quick videos you'll see, and the concealer is getting really swiped on in a heavy way. And I think this is a part of makeup where less is definitely more. We do know that there are certain concealer formulas, like in my own collection, I know there are some that I could get away with using more, and there are some where it really helps to keep it minimal. But in a general rule of thumb across the board, get by with as little as possible concealer-wise, particularly on the under eye area. So, for example, today I did use a heavy-duty big dog here. I used the L'Oreal Infallible Full Wear. I wear the shade Ivory, and just tiny dots, a tiny dot on the inner part of the eye, even less of a dot on the outer part of the eye. Get your redness around the nose, handle any problem areas you have, and then my method for blending is usually to spread it first and then tap it in after. e.l.f. Duo Complexion Brush is a great one for that, and if you like using a sponge, you can still do this method. Just spread with your smaller brush, and then you could tap it in with a sponge even, as opposed to the larger end of the brush, and that might help work that into the skin even better. But as you're starting to see little fine lines, just quicker to show signs of dryness on your skin, loading on way more concealer than is necessary is not going to help you out. And a lot of these concealers are extremely potent, and you do truly only need a little bit. Number 3 comment here for something that makes a big difference in the way my makeup ultimately turns out. Brows are really important. I think brows are an important part of everyone's look because they really do create the framework of the face. I feel like if you don't have some kind of brow going on, even if it's an exquisite looking eye, it's like it's not able to make the same impact. So I would say it's about finding the right brow fill-in for your needs. Some people every day are recreating their brow basically from scratch. Maybe for those people, a little pen style fill-in works really well. Maybe some have all the brow hair they can handle, and literally just brushing through it with a clear gel is perfect. For me, what I've learned is where my brows are, they are fairly thick, and the skinnier the better on the type of pencil I use to fill in. And I still bounce around. I still try different things. I still use different things that I have in my collection. But what I find kind really works the best and most effectively are the skinny pencils that might have the word nano in the name. Morphe makes one, CoverGirl makes one. Here's CoverGirl's. That's what I use today. And part of why that works so well is that I do have existing brow, but there are some places that I want to fill in. And the pencil is so skinny that it really cuts right through the brow hair, gets to the skin, fills in precisely where I need it, and I'm not having to do more than is necessary. Have you ever felt like you're raking on top of brow hair with your pencil, just waiting for the fill-in to start happening? The brow hairs catch a lot, I think. And with the really skinny ones, you're able to just come in contact with skin where you need to, and it creates a good look. And then I'll set it with something that's not too goopy, okay? So Morphe Micro Manager Gripping Brow Gel, or for a quick day or a beach day, or just something where, yeah, I want something in my brows, but I want it to be as quick as humanly possible. Maybelline Brow Fast Sculpt is going to do the hold and the tint. The pigment in there is going to help shape them a little bit more, and that's a great option as well. But knowing what your brow need actually is and picking the right product for it, I think will make a world of difference in the way your finished look is overall. Number 4, I'm going to say eye, lip, and cheek harmony. The decisions you make with color. The 3 key places we're making it usually lip color, the blush, and the eyeshadow. Now, if you're thinking, okay, I think I can harmonize the lip and cheek pretty well, but I don't want to always have to think about a separate eye look all the time. Let's just say it's a neutral eye look then. Harmonize the lip and cheek. I mean, maybe eyes are just a soft brown, a little shimmer on the lid, or a little matte nude on the lid. Fine. But if you can kind of get a connected look going between lip and cheek, I think it makes the face look so much more harmonious. And sometimes for somebody to look at you, I think it's probably the thing they can't quite put their finger on all the time of why you look good. But it was because there was some thought involved in the way you're connecting the colors, okay? So today, for example, I use this Maybelline Cloudtopia. Multi-purpose products can make our lives really easy here. Now, could you absolutely throw on a powder blush of your choice and then peruse your lip products and say, okay, I think this is what would fall in line? That's great, but this does make it very easy. Products such as the Maybelline Cloudtopia, I love this texture because it's very pigmented, but yet easy to blend. It looks good on the lips, it looks good on the cheeks too, and it lasts a long time. So this is the shade I was working with today called Toasted Sky, and as you can see, it's kind of got a deepened, kind of brownish, dusty rose thing happening, and it shears out beautifully on the cheeks. You can see the color in a more intense way here on the lips, and that connection immediately looked good when I put those two on. And then I thought, well, how can I kind of follow that thought process with my eyes? I pulled in something that might give me a little bit of a muted rose thing happening. This is the No Rose Without a Thorn palette from Hard Candy, and you know, I found the rosy shade, I sheared that out in my crease, and I practically look like I'm echoing the same color in 3 places. I used some of this brown, by the way, in the outer corner, and some of the matte cream going inward. Not a complex look, but if you've got a decent eyeshadow wardrobe, chances are a lot of times you can make a selection that's going to make sense with the lip and cheek. And I don't like to lay down hard and fast rules because that takes all the fun out of makeup. I want to see people busting out some olive green eyeshadow, and that doesn't mean you have to have an olive green cheek and lip. You know what I'm saying here? But maybe something kind of earthy and brownish might look really good working into your blush or your lip color on that day. Maybe it's a super dark smoky eye. The cheek turns out to be kind of peachy, and then the lip is an even softer peachy nude. You've got to play. This is where I'll get on my soapbox about playing with makeup and taking time to do that outside of when it really matters, and when instead you can just come up and have fun and get in front of your makeup and say, what looks good together? How can I experiment and have fun here and at the same time turn out something that really flatters my face? So it's primarily, I think, about lip and cheek harmony is a good thing to keep in mind if you don't really know where to begin in this sea of products and colors. But I do feel some of the looks I like best on myself is when the eye look also gets to be part of that sort of harmonious trio of color steps in the face. Number 5, this is a big one for me. You can put on all the mascara you want, but unless your lashes have some curl to them, that doesn't get shown off really, unless everybody's just seeing you from the side and then they notice, oh, she's got lashes. But head on, we need the lashes to be curling, and that's why so often you'll see me curl my lashes in the video, you know, Shiseido eyelash curler, put the mascara on, and then afterward, when the mascara is most of the way dry, I'm like blinking onto my finger and reinforcing that curl, because that's when you really get the impact, okay? If you're not wearing false lashes, you're relying on your own lashes, and it has to have some curl. So take some mental notes also as you go throughout a day. Think, did this mascara drop my curl, or did this mascara kind of dry down quick and support the curl in my lashes? Do I feel like I'm turning into Snuffleupagus? Are they just coming down, or are they nicely upturned? My lashes really try to fight the process, but I find pulsing my eyelash curler for about 30 seconds, that makes a big difference. I know some of y'all are into heated lash curlers. That's a thing you can do. And again, simply the physical act of reinforcing that curl, the lashes are usually still somewhat pliable for a little while, and I feel like that really does something too. But it's really a difference maker between the eyes not looking very awake and the eyes looking very wide awake when the lashes are standing at attention. So just something to think about there. The last thing I'll point out is additional powder if needed. I do think powder is important in my makeup routine, you know, as setting. I like to set my look because I think it makes a big difference in staying power. I like to specifically set around the sides of my nose and the under eye because I think it makes a big difference. But another time that I do it is after the whole makeup's gotten done, and maybe it's before I even stand up from this table or I'm about to leave the room and I'm like, you know, a little more powder could be nice. You don't need to be scared of powder. There are some really good formulas. I love this Kosas Cloud Set, and just taking a small brush, dabbing it on center of the forehead or right on the sides of the nose or wherever it still seems like, okay, you need a little something extra there. It makes a difference. It can blur the lines. It can take away the excess shine. You might have thought the face was finished, but that day not that much powder got on you. Give yourself a once over at the end and just see, do I need a little bit extra? But powder is important. I think it's important to varying degrees for different people, dependent on skin types and dependent on preferences and just the way you like your skin to look. A person who loves a matte look is going to want to use a little more powder than the person who says, I just want to be glowy. So that's why I didn't really lay down and everyone needs to have a certain amount of powder on their face every day. But sometimes before you get done, you might look at yourself and think, could I benefit from just a little bit in pinpointed areas? And it helps. So again, to review, moisturization, minimal concealer, the right brow fill-in for your needs, some harmony between the lip and the cheek and possibly the eye as well if you're not sure what direction to go, making sure the lashes are curled, and also additional powder if needed. Being open to that and being mindful of that toward the end of your makeup routine. Now, as far as what's on my face today, you saw some things going on, but not everything. I'm wearing the Nude by Nature Perfect Skin Filter Foundation, and this I wear in the shade Classic Beige. The concealer that went on in the video for the minimal concealer is L'Oreal Infallible Full Wear, shade is Ivory. I did set my under eye and T-zone with this new Morphe powder called Bright Balance Bacon Set, and it's the combination of these tones, and mainly these were the two, the pink and the lilac, that I used, and I feel very brightened indeed. On my under eye area, I use that around the T-zone too. I use the Physicians Formula Bronze Booster, their cream bronzer Warm Sand. It's called Sun Blur, Glow Activated Bronzing Balm. And then the Cloudtopia is the lip and the cheek. There's nothing else on my lips but this. No Rose Without a Thorn palette from Hard Candy, Milani, highly rated Fan Club mascara on top, e.l.f. lash extender on the lower lashes, and the brow product was the CoverGirl Clean Fresh Nano Brow Pencil with the Morphe Micromanager Gripping Brow Gel on top of that. So thank you guys so much for watching and for listening to this, and I would love to learn as well from you all. If you've got any like parts of your makeup routine or little habits that you do that you think actually make or break your makeup routine or just make a big difference for the way it all turns out, let us know in the comments section so we can learn from you, and I will see you all again very soon. I love you. Bye.